Bet you thought I wasn't coming back to this series. Let's talk about mixing genres. Today's episode, Season 1, Episode 7, is a character-focused episode on Doyle, specifically on his backstory and who he was before he needed a redemption arc. But it's also a romantic comedy, complete with the tropes and subversions one would expect of that genre. This is interesting to me because Angel is already a mix of two genres, of noir detective stories and urban fantasy. With this episode, they're laying on a third genre on top of those two. There's an inherent risk to that of watering down and muddying things together, but I think it really works here. From that, we can learn a powerful tool we should remember in our own writing. A tool that helps keep things fresh. Those of you who saw my writing process video know I spend my Sundays watching movies. A few Sundays ago, I watched Cast a Deadly Spell, a 1990 movie set in the 40s that is a mix of noir detective and urban fantasy. It's not a bad movie, it's got Clancy Brown in it, and it hits all the familiar notes in all the familiar places. Both genres are played straight, their tropes checked off like boxes on a list. Once upon a time, this idea of taking two genres and mashing them together was innovative, but by Cast a Deadly Spell, it was old hat. Those genres aren't exactly strange pairings. The detective working in the shadows is a good setup for someone who has to live on the border, engaging with a hidden world others might not see, be it crime or vampires. Because these genres work so well together, they are often paired up, making up a significant portion of their modern incarnations. Cast a Deadly Spell places all of its chips on the bet that this mixing of chocolate and peanut butter will be novel to you, new and exciting. It doesn't have much to offer past that. It's not a bad movie by any means, but it can come across as flat or dull if you're already familiar with the combination. Angel has this same problem. They're mixing the noir and urban fantasy genres too, and doing it a decade later than Cast a Deadly Spell. More than that, Angel has to do one of these stories every single week, week in and week out, 22 episodes a season for what ended up being 5 years. And that finally brings us back to Doyle. The writers wanted an episode to set up Doyle's backstory, as it's the last chance they're going to get. Doyle bites the dust 2 episodes from now. They could have done this in an infinite number of ways. We've already seen how they did it with Cordelia in both the pilot and the Phantom Dennis episodes, leveraging monsters of the week to explore her character and motivations. But they didn't do that here. Instead, they took a good long look at Doyle's character. He's goofy, charming in his own sort of way, a sad sack. Then they came up with a new approach to explore his backstory. They brought in a third genre that could highlight those tendencies in him, enhance that character focus. The romantic comedy. Romantic comedies are all about this, about the loser who gets the girl and loses the girl and gets the girl again. Doyle doesn't get the girl back here. That would derail his romantic subplot with Cordelia, which, by the way, they also move forward in this episode. They take the tropes of this third genre and largely play them straight. But it works in this instance unlike in Cast a Deadly Spell. The new tropes are able to interact well with the existing genres. Turns out the jerk in this love triangle is a cannibalistic demon. Hate when that happens. And it helps breathe new life into the stale mixture of genres we've already become familiar with. This show, which has to keep things fresh every single week, is able to not only lean heavily on the 2 genres that make up its core premise, it's able to bring in other genres when needed, be they romantic comedies or slasher horror or mob dramas. It's able to use these additional genres to highlight the core goal of that episode, while also keeping things fresh. And that is a lesson we can all stand to remember. I'm Michael Aguero. Thanks for watching. I've got a new novella out. It's called I'm Bored. It's spicy. You can pick it up on Amazon or Google Play to help support the channel. Link in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Nice and quick. Nice and quick. Nice and quick.